All right, welcome back to Mind Over Emotions, the podcast. I'm your host, Herc, and today I got a dope ass guy here with me today. But before I get into that, if you haven't already, go ahead and follow the page on Instagram at Mind Over Emotions underscore VDP. And follow us as well on TikTok at Mind Over Emotions, the podcast. And right before we get into this episode, as always, I like to tell you guys, make sure you guys are checking on your loved ones, checking on yourself. Most importantly, check on yourself because you can't fill any other cup on a cup that's half full. So make sure you're taking care of your own mental health first, but most definitely check on your loved ones, the people you love, the people that you hate as well. So, hey, my guest is Jay, but what I just found out, guys, is that his name ain't actually Jay. What's the J for?
Uh, Joshua.
All right, Joshua. I was gonna pronounce his last name, but can you pronounce it for us?
Yeah, last name is Mwangi.
Mwangi, spelled Mwangi.
Yep.
All right, and where's that last name from?
Kenya. It's Kikuyu. That's a tribe back home in my country, but yeah, it's from Kenya.
Okay. So you're actually from Kenya?
Yeah, born
How,
and raised.
oh, okay. So how old were you when you moved to the States?
16. Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 25.
So you've been here about 9 years.
Yep.
Which one do you like better, the U.S. or Kenya?
I mean, East or West home is the best, but I like it here. Yeah.
All right. What brought you to the U.S.?
Well, my dad's been here for a while. My dad's a missionary, so he used to come here, back and forth here in Kenya a lot from I think it was 97 if I'm not wrong. So he's been here a while, back and forth, and then after doing the process for me and my brother and my mom to come here. So.
Okay. So how was it growing up in Kenya?
Oh, it's definitely different. It's a lot different from here. I'll say that. Even sometimes I still feel like I don't fit in here, even now. You know.
I think you fit in, man.
I kind of do, yeah.
Yeah, I said this about Kay. I said this about Sherman when they were on, and it kind of applies to you as well. I don't really know anybody who says anything bad about you or ever has a problem with you, so I think you're doing good at fitting in.
Yeah, it's just my own business.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
It's to just kind of stay in your own lane,
Yeah.
talk to people who talk to you,
Yeah.
and just be friendly and nice to everybody, really.
Yeah.
So growing up, I know you said your dad was already here, so your mom and your dad weren't together?
No, my dad and my mom were together since I think they were like 18 or 19, or maybe a little older.
They're still together now?
Well, my mom passed away in 2022.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, they were still together, but my dad used to come here because he worked. My mom never really worked. My dad tried to make sure of that, so he used to, because back home we have, the man and all this stuff provides. So he made, make sure my mom lived the life that she wanted to comfortably. So.
Okay, so would you say growing up that you were closer to your mom than your dad?
Yeah, but my family were all close. Like we love our dad too, but yeah, I was definitely closer to my mom because she was there most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whenever my dad used to come back every 3 months, he'd come back home.
Okay.
Yeah.
And before we get into your childhood, though, what did your dad do for a living, or what does he do?
Well, before I was born, my dad was a salesman. He owned a tomato company back home, like making the sauces, like tomato sauces and stuff.
Okay.
And then he moved on to he's an apostle, so he does like missionary work, church stuff.
Oh, so you guys have from a Christian background.
Yeah, yeah.
What kind of different religions are in Kenya?
Kenya, there's only two major ones, Christianity and Muslim.
Okay.
Or Islam, sorry. Yeah.
All right. And you guys never thought about being Islam?
No, not really.
Okay.
Yeah. From a young age, we've always been Christians. I remember we used to wake up in the morning, like at 5 a.m. to pray and read the Bible with my dad. So. And
would you say that you're an active Christian now?
Not really. I was even talking to somebody about the other gym the other day. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of slacked off of it after a while growing up. I haven't been to church in a while, but I'll go back to that, but I still pray. Even when I go to work at night, when I sleep, I try to read the Bible.
So then, in that case, you are an active Christian.
Yeah,
The reason why I say that is because I think that sometimes people perceive that you have, in order to be a Christian, you have to be going to church every Sunday.
yeah,
You have to go to church like multiple times throughout the week. Everything you do has to be revolving around Christianity.
To be a
And
Christian.
I don't think that that's the case.
No.
I think that as long as you have a relationship with God,
Yep.
you profess Him as your Lord and Savior, and you do your best moralistically to,
Yeah.
throughout life to, you know, in the pursuit of life, I think that as long as you're doing that, then you are an active Christian.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it comes from inside.
Exactly.
Yeah, your body is the temple. Even the Bible says that. So it's
Yeah.
not a building.
Even though they want you to believe that you have to,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's good though. So growing up, what kind of kid were you? Hold on, how many siblings do you have?
I have four, 3 brothers and 1 sister.
3 brothers, 1 sister.
Yeah.
You the oldest?
No, I'm the youngest.
You're the baby?
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Okay. So growing up for you, how was that?
I was definitely a hard-headed kid. I went to a boarding school. I think I was 6th grade. Yeah.
What'd you go to boarding school for? So what did you go to boarding school for? I can imagine you doing anything bad, man.
I was a bad kid, man. I was hard-headed, getting into fights, messing stuff up in the neighborhood. Playing soccer, hitting people's windows with balls.
Oh my god.
So,
You play soccer? What position you play in soccer?
I was a defender.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever watched the episode that I did with Mo and Vanessa, but all 3 of us are soccer players.
Okay.
And I can't remember. I think she was a defender as well.
Uh-huh.
I think Vanessa, if they had her on defense, something's wrong. She's so small. And big shout out to Vanessa. She was supposed to be here today co-hosting, but something came up, so she had to step out. But she should be on the next episode. But I think she was like a striker or something. I played center midfield. So
Okay.
soccer was like probably my first love before everything else.
Yeah.
You would never know that. You would think that probably like basketball or like something like football. Or something like that was my first love. But nope, soccer. Like, I love soccer.
Yeah, for me it was soccer, and then I started playing rugby in high school.
Rugby.
Yeah.
Oh hell no! I can't play no rugby.
Man, it was fun. I mean, it was different. You don't wear like pads and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then the field we used to play in the school because I was in a boarding school, it was on top of a hill. So the sides, it was a drop. It was a little bit of a drop, and then there's these like weeds that have thorns on them. They were all over the ground. So if you get tackled and drop, you'd come out and your back just.
Oh hell, see no.
It was fun though. It was fun.
But rugby, I always said rugby is like probably one of the most dangerous sports. It's
Oh,
a
most
mixture.
definitely.
It's a mixture of like soccer, football, hockey, all
Yeah.
in one, right?
Yeah, it is. But the only difference with the rugby, you're not allowed to tackle like above the waist. It's below the waist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Football is more dangerous because you can just run people over. I mean, now it's changed, but
Yeah. So growing up, when you were growing up, when did you guys decide? Okay, we're gonna go from Kenya to the U.S.
well, the process to come here is not as easy as people think.
Well, I don't think it's called naturalization, right?
No. So there's different ways you can do it. You can either get a visa, but visa is temporarily, or you can do like a green card. It's like a lottery thing. They do it every year. If you win, you come. If you don't, you wait till the next year to try again.
You could have just got married and married somebody for a green card.
Yeah, but it was hard to come. Find somebody who's just gonna do that.
You could have went on that show, 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah, no. What's it called? And then for us, it was an asylum.
Asylum?
Yeah.
What's that like?
So you just get a lawyer and they help you get your paperwork right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long is that process? Like a year?
No, it depends. For everybody, it's different. Some people might be a year. Some people might be 6 years. For ours, it was pretty long.
6 years?
Yeah.
I probably changed my mind on coming here.
Yeah, but back home life is different, so
Yeah.
it's not like here. So people actually wanna, because there's way more opportunities here than back home.
Now, so where you're from in Kenya, is what we see on TV, is that like...
No.
No.
I mean,
They're just going to probably going to like the most rural
yeah,
place.
they probably just show the most rural places like Nairobi, where I used to stay. No, it's definitely different.
Is it more like modern though?
Yeah, Nairobi, it's way more modern.
So,
They have everything. They have malls. They have malls.
oh, see,
But
they make it seem on TV like you guys are like behind the times.
no, people have Lamborghinis back home.
For real?
Yeah, people like I know they're having they just had a recent event. It was in April. It's called Safari Rally. It's where rally drivers race across country basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, people have GTRs, nice cars in Kenya. People are rich in Kenya. People they just show the.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say all I ever see is like, like donate 8 cents to
No.
this starving kid.
Yeah, that's mostly countries with like civil wars.
Oh, okay.
Where they have no governments. No, Kenya.
That's like where Jonathan Kaminga
Yeah,
for the Warriors.
yeah,
That's how when he was talking. I was watching on I think it was Netflix. I want to say watching that story like a series on him, and that's what they were talking about. They were talking about how he was talking about how his country was in like a civil war at the time, and you just have to walk like an hour to go play basketball, and have to walk through like those kind of areas, those rough areas.
yeah.
So you didn't have nothing like that.
I mean, not really. Not anything like Civil War wise. I mean, the closest thing was 2007.
Okay.
Because the election, it was really bad after the. I don't remember who the president was, but the opposition, it caused a low, like. There was Civil War definitely going on. Though you could even into town because people were rioting, people killing each other, asking what tribe you are. There was warfare in between the tribes because the president is this tribe and the opposition was this tribe. So yeah, besides
Is joining the military out there? Is that voluntary or is it?
it is, but it's a different process than here. I never looked into it, but I know a couple people who did, but it's way more different.
Because I was going to ask, how do you feel about being from Kenya, but then serving in the U.S.?
Oh,
You were in the military, correct?
Yeah, I was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, to serve in the U.S. Marine Corps.
What made me do it?
No, I'm saying like because you're not necessarily American.
Yeah.
I mean, you are probably now. You
Yeah.
got your citizenship.
Yep.
But your birth country and your home is Kenya.
Yeah.
So, but you're serving in the military for another country. Like, how was that? Like, how did that affect you?
I mean, I wanted to join the military though.
But not your own military, though.
I wasn't old enough to even think about that when I was back home.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah. But when I came here, I wanted to do it because I.
How was your Marine experience?
It wasn't bad. I actually miss it sometimes.
You miss chewing on crayons?
Huh? No, I miss my friends. I miss a lot of my friends. A lot of things we did together.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, too, guys, so if you haven't already and you're still tuning in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me, please. But one thing's for sure is I've known this guy for like 6 months to a year before I knew he had dreads. I think he kind of just dropped it on everybody for a while there. I don't know how you were hiding your dreads, but you came out of nowhere and I thought he had weave in his hair.
No. So it's actually hair. It just got reattached to my hair. Yeah, it's real hair.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I know. But he just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's because I went to Kenya and I got it done.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, now it's coming out.
Yeah.
Okay, because I remember you used to walk around. I never seen you with the long hair, and then all of a sudden I didn't see you for a while. I came back and I was like, damn, this dude got some real strong hair growth implants.
No.
We went from being short hair to long hair.
No, my hair was long, but I used to wear a hat all the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, you used to hide it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Do a lot of people in Kenya have long hair?
Yeah. What's it called? There's a lot of people who have long hair back home. A lot of dreadheads.
Dreadheads?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't like call it dreadheads no more. They call it locks now.
Locks. Yeah. Whatever you want to call it, but
Let
yeah.
don't let my mom catch you calling them some
She
dreads.
doesn't
No. Nah, she called them her locks.
Yeah.
So I know her and my sister, my nephew. He goes back and forth between having locks. My brother, like I said, my sister. I think she still has them. Yeah. So I used to have long hair, but not locks. So
Yeah.
I just had long hair.
My brother has long hair.
Okay.
He hasn't cut in his hair, I think, in it's going on to 10 years.
Okay.
So when he does braids, but when he undo the braids, it's like, it looks fake because it's so big.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad had an afro too.
So growing up, what would you say is like the biggest difference you see between um, growing up in Kenya and living in Kenya versus living in the U.S.?
Um, I mean, I don't know how Kenya is now. I had like a little small picture, but when I was there, at least for it was different. Like school wise, especially in school wise. Like when I first came here, because I came in junior year, and then I saw how people talk to the teachers here. I'm like, man, if you were back home, you get your ass whooped for saying stuff like that. You know
By
what
the
I mean?
teacher?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Because
wow.
back home, they're allowed to punish you. Well, yeah, they are. Especially, yeah. Especially in government schools, yeah. Like I'd see people talk to crazy. I'm like, man, you lucky you're here, bro,
Yeah.
because they'd have a field day with yo.
They be
Yeah.
whooping your ass.
Yeah. So discipline is definitely different back home. You just and you can't just people are really like kids are really rude to adults here. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should allow anybody to disrespect you, but yeah, kids are really rude here. And then besides that, culture wise, like adult wise. People are soft too. Back home, everybody's like on
You said people are soft?
here. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, back home people.
Don't tell them that, man.
And I'm sorry, but it's true. Like not soft in a bad way. It's like nobody. You can't know who can take a joke and who can't.
Yeah.
Certain things. Like you can't say certain things that are gonna offend somebody or.
So more like emotional.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can agree with that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
The U.S. have definitely turned into like an emotional state.
Yeah.
So, would you ever want to go back and live back in Kenya?
I've thought about it. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
They ain't got no powerlifting in Kenya.
They do, actually.
They do?
Yeah, there's a lot of strong people back home. They have people bodybuild. I follow a couple of accounts on TikTok.
Actually, so I did see some people years ago working out. I don't know if they're in Kenya, but I'm assuming they were in like Africa or something. But they had, but they were working out with like center blocks.
Yeah.
So they don't know how much lifting.
We had one in school too. We made it. We had a bar, and then we put like cement in tin cans, and then we just used that.
That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you know how much your weight you're lifting?
You just lift it. If it goes up, you
It
can.
goes up.
You use it.
You get to a competition, you'd be like, I want to start off with 3 center blocks.
I mean, now they got that. Now they got gyms. Obviously, even before they probably did. I just never went to.
So, is mental health a big thing in Kenya?
It's not spoken more back home. Like,
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. It's just the way people are raised back home. I think it has a lot to do with that.
So you're saying that people deal with mental health issues, they just keep it in, they don't talk about it?
Yeah.
So do you think that you guys' suicide rate is higher over there because of that, or you think it's lower because of that?
I think it's lower because of that.
You think it's lower because people hold all their problems in?
No. It's not lower because people hold their problems in. It's because, back home it's like, maybe I don't know, but because I haven't really looked into the suicide rates back home, but you don't hear it as much back home. Maybe but it's not. There's not many cases, but it's because back home, like, you go through so much, like. So once it gets to a certain point, like, yeah, you're going through something, but you're like, man, this is nothing to compare to what I went through before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it builds the calluses in the brains, the life back home.
Yeah.
So back home, you just don't hear people giving up. Oh, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I always wonder why, like this today, people are so easy and so quick to
Give up.
give
Yeah.
up.
No, yeah, back home people. That's all. I used to tell my friends in the military all the time, like, if you think your life is hard, I want you to buy a ticket and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It will change your perspective. Even when I went to Kenya that one time, I came back, and I was like, man, I'm not invalidating how I feel if I want to complain, but it could always be worse.
Exactly.
So that's why I think that's honestly why I think it's lower back home, because people have that mental, strength in there.
Yeah, they're probably like, well, one, probably two, everybody's more on the same playing field too, probably.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everybody's going through something.
Yep. Everybody's going through something.
Yeah, whereas here you got everybody trying to perceive or trying to put on a show like, as if they're living such a cush life.
Yeah. No.
And the whole time they're portraying that they're living this good life, but inside they're battling so hard,
Yeah.
And then I think that faking I really believe that faking happiness is more detrimental to your mental health than just addressing the fact that
Yeah.
you have an issue
Yeah.
or just suppressing it.
Hmm.
I think the faking because you have to live a double life.
Yeah, it's way yeah
It's way
yeah.
harder on you.
That's what causes yeah, absolutely, I agree with that.
That's why like I always tell you guys, make sure you guys are always checking on each other and making sure that you have somebody to talk to because faking, being fake is almost the equivalent of lying.
Yeah,
You
to
know,
yourself especially.
yeah, you pretty much are lying to the world. You're lying to yourself because and you have to remember that, and that's just so strenuous. And it just becomes overwhelming. It's like gets to a point where it's like, okay, well, the problem might be something that's bearable that you can deal with. But then when you add on top of that, having to fake this happy persona and then having this sad persona that you have when you get back to you cross that
Yeah.
threshold back into your home, I feel like that could just become overwhelming for people. I'm not a therapist. I don't know,
Yeah,
but just looking at how people are living their lives, the way society is today,
it's different. Yeah,
yeah, it's just because you get on like we talked about this on the episodes before, where you get on social media, and you believe that everybody around you
it's doing better than you.
is doing so much better than you, but that's just what they want you to see,
Yeah,
and that's what the show they put on while they're out in the world. But then when they get home and behind closed doors,
yeah, it's a whole
they're over
different
here.
story.
Yeah, they're going might be going a little loco.
Yeah, and I think a lot of back home too is because people believe in religion a lot. You know, like back home people go to church a lot. You know, they believe in God. That yeah, I'm going through this, but God, the religion helps too back home, because Kenya is a very religious country.
Okay.
Like most people, Christian, Islam, Muslims, everybody's very believing in that God. I think that's also another thing. I'm not saying you have to believe in Christianity or anything, but it kind of helps.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Now, growing up as a teenager, did you ever battle any kind of like depression or anxiety or any kind of mental health issues?
Yeah, when I was in boarding school back home was different, man. Especially when I went through it, there was a lot of bullying. They call it, especially if you're a freshman. They used to call you mono. It's monolizing. It's like
Mono?
yeah,
Okay.
that's what that's what they call you as a freshman. It's called Form 1 in Kenya. Because you are the youngest in the whole school basically.
Yeah.
So
Fresh meat.
yeah, basically. So they they you get treated like anybody trying to make you belittle you. But I mean, I was a hard head. I really never let that push me. But yeah, it used to cause anxiety all the time because I was sleeping and around all these people that I don't even know.
What at boarding school? What was the age group like?
If it was high school, I'd say probably I think 13 maybe to like 17
Okay.
or 18. Yeah. And then if you're in like um it's called primary school. That's like from
You
first.
said primary school?
Yeah, that's like from first grade to like 8th grade. We call
Oh.
it primary school back home. If it was then, the ages vary, but usually it was like I think from like 5th or 4th grade to like 8th grade. That one in boarding schools. Then the age there is different. But then it was way different back then because you have way more supervision with like the teachers. In high school, it was a whole different game. The teachers would go home on the weekends. It's just maybe there's one teacher going around the school.
For real? Just
Yeah.
one teacher?
Yeah, so it was. It's
That just seemed like there'd be a lot more problems.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it was problems, but it just kind of forced you to know how to defend yourself. Like I used to stand my ground a lot because I was just a hard head. I used to tell you might beat me, but you're never gonna forget me because I'm not.
There you go, yeah.
I'm not gonna just let you have it. That's what kind of helped me build who I am today. Because even when I went to the military, it was the same thing. Like I didn't find it as mentally tough, because I was already through boarding school. It was
Yeah.
like the military, sleeping on bunk beds, waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning,
Yeah.
eating the same thing almost every day.
Yeah. So when you got to America, you said you were 16 when you came to America,
Yeah.
and you said you always wanted to join the military. You said?
Yeah, I wanted to after I stayed here for a while, I was like, yeah, I want to do it.
Okay. And what was your job in the military?
35, 31, motor T, but we did different things in my unit. I've
I
shot.
think all units do
Yeah,
almost. You got one job title, but you do a whole bunch
yeah,
of different things.
especially in the Marine Corps. Yeah, I shot machine guns off trucks. I carried machine guns on hikes. I did all
That's
kinds of
the
stuff.
military
So,
for you.
yeah,
So during the military, no, we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that.
yeah.
I was going to ask you something. I'll ask you that off camera. Um, so, at any point, did you ever deal with any kind of like like mental health like issues, like to where you got to the point where you're at like what you would call like a breaking point?
Yeah, 2019, August. That's when I seriously started like getting into the gym. I was going through it. My mom was a type 2 diabetic, so
Okay.
she'd get sick a lot. That kind of got to me. I couldn't see her when, like, I had to ask for leave, and I was still in training, so I couldn't really leave.
Did your mom ever come here?
She was here.
Okay.
Yeah, she was here till she passed away in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, 2019 was very hard because I started questioning me joining if I wanted to keep doing it, and then not being able to see my family.
But you never got to a point where you thought about ending it, though, right?
I did, but I just, I kind of told myself, hey, like, why am I giving up? Well, when I can actually do something about it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I started seeing a therapist.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was definitely better. I will never forget the words she told me. She was like, "Have you ever tried?" I don't remember her name, but I will never forget that lady because she asked me a question. That one, it was actually I was seeing her for like a good, maybe like a month, but in like the second month, towards the end of the sessions, it was coming to an end because I was leaving the area. She asked me one question on one interview. She was like, or session. She was like, "Have you ever tried putting all this energy into something?" I was like, "Not really." And I thought about it. I was like, what do I do when I feel that I don't do anything? I just sit there, and soak the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to go to the gym, but not that seriously. And then one time, my squad leader at the time, I still appreciate him. He was like, "Hey, let's go to the gym." I was like, "All right, let's go." And then ever since, I just kept going and
Okay.
going, yeah. And then I use it as therapy. But
Did somebody refer you to therapy, or you just decided to go on your own?
somebody did. That my unit actually did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did something happen that caused them to
Yeah, yeah. I got angry and punched the window, and my roommate got super scared. Yeah,
I've been
the
in boarding
mirror.
school, motherfucker.
Yeah, I
All
was
right.
just yeah.
Do you think you still battle with any of those kind of things right now?
Like what? Like ending it or just
Yeah.
mm,
Even
not
those, just
really.
those thoughts, period.
Not ending it, but I mean it's life. We all go through something. He does. I don't care who you are.
That's what I try to tell people all the time,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. You're gonna go through something.
Yeah, but
It might not be financially related. It could be something else. Like
relationships,
yeah,
it could be
relationships
just life, period.
in general. Yeah,
Losing your job.
yeah,
Some people, everybody handles different things differently.
yeah,
Like what might be small to me, like I might think like like, oh, I lost my job, like it's just a job, I'll find another one. It's not
yeah,
so stressful. But then like hypothetically, like you might lose your job and that might be the end of the world for you because our lives are different.
yeah.
We prioritize things differently, and we handle the loss of things differently as well. So, but I'm glad you're able to find therapy, man. We've talked about therapy, and I think we have mixed reviews on therapy. Um, with the guests that I've had on so far, it just definitely shows that therapy is that some people find it beneficial and find it as something that they would be interested in doing, or they've done it, they liked it, and or they don't like it.
I think it depends on the therapist usually.
I think that's a big part of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. A part of me sometimes wants to go to therapy, but one, I ain't got no time for that.
Yeah, true.
Two, I like to say that doing this podcast is my therapy now.
Yeah,
You know,
therapy is whatever helps you feel
Better.
better. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't have you. It doesn't have to be you talking to somebody. It could be you. I don't know, going to Chambers Bay and walking around it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
for me, this is therapy because it's giving everybody an outlet to tell their truth, tell their story.
Yeah,
You know,
decompress. Yeah,
Yep, and so I think that ultimately, just for the person, the guest that I have on here, I feel like it's beneficial for them
yeah,
because they can get some things off their chest, or they can just start talking about stuff that even if they don't talk about no trauma, they just talk about their life, just talk about what's on their mind.
yeah,
Gives them that kind of like that moment, that piece, and then obviously I talk about all the time. The flip side of that is the people who watch the episode, they be able to relate to it. Maybe I have somebody who watches it and they're from Kenya.
Yeah.
You never know, or they just somebody who can relate to something that you speak about, or somebody else who spoke about something and it helped them through. So that's the whole purpose of this, and that's therapy for the guests, but it's also therapy for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a people person.
Oh, good for you, man. Yeah, it makes you feel that way. Absolutely. Yeah.
What month were you born in?
March.
March.
Yeah.
So that's what that Pisces.
Aries.
Aries.
Yeah, March 22.
I don't know nothing about the signs.
I don't know either. I only know mine because somebody told me.
Oh, your birthday is March what?
22.
22.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually know somebody who has their birthday as well.
Yeah.
So what got you into the gym? Besides needing an outlet to put all that energy into.
Well, that it was mostly that, and I just wanted to. In the Marine Corps, I just wanted to be fit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It helped being fit a lot, and just being fit. And also something else that I've been trying to implement in my life. I'm still trying to do it right now. I'm getting better at it, but it kind of helped me build my discipline more. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, because I'm trying to, because I work long days. Like, I work a lot during the weekdays. I work 12-hour shifts, 14-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts sometimes, So, even at the end of that shift, that 14 or 12-hour shift, I still go to the gym, even if I'm tired. You know what I mean? So, I'm trying to implement that, because if I open a business or something, I don't care if I'm tired, I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to use it. That was also another thing, because if I can, it was like an experiment, I go to the gym no matter what. I could be tired. I could have one meal, barely slept, but I'm still going to go to the gym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm trying to implement that because if I start my own business, I can do that. Be like, oh man, I'm tired. I don't want to do this, but it's my business and I want to do it. So.
Do you have a business in mind that you think about starting?
There's a couple. I'm definitely thinking about like real estate.
Okay.
Because I have my VA stuff. My VA. I'm definitely thinking about real estate. I'm thinking about opening eventually. Well, I'm gonna focus on one first and then venture into the other stuff.
Probably the smarter.
Yeah. Because I don't want to just try all of them at the same time. First find, like one niche, prioritize it, perfect it. Once it opens up, then venture into other things. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
I think that's a problem that a lot of people have, even me.
Yeah.
Is you have all these different ideas, these different things you want to do,
Yeah.
and then you try to start a little here, a little here, a little here, and you never actually complete anything.
Yeah.
And then, or you think that something's not working, but it's because you haven't put full effort into it.
Yeah, and it's going to take time.
Yeah, it's hard to evaluate if something is effective.
Yeah.
When you're not really kind of like
putting all.
Yeah, you're not focusing on it. Yep. You're giving 10% over here, 5% over here. It's like,
no, it has to be 110 over here first.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't consider yourself to be a powerlifter, would you?
Not really. I don't claim that because I've never competed.
My man.
So I can't.
My man.
I can't. I tell people all the time I just do it for fun.
Okay.
People be like, "Oh, you're a powerlifter." I powerlift, but I'm not a powerlifter.
Did you know that it was considered powerlifting, or did you just start doing that and then you started realizing that this is a sport? This is actually a sport. I just like lifting heavy shit, though.
Yeah, actually, I had surgery on my knee back in 2021 December, and going into 2022, and I was on bed rest for a while. That's when I started like squatting and stuff.
Okay.
After the surgery, because I remember I started doing walking lunges, and then after 6 months, I was cleared to like do more lower body stuff, and I just started deadlifting and squatting, and I didn't even know like powerlifting. I wasn't really like, and then I just started squatting, and then I started squatting like I started getting stronger, 315, 405, and then I started benching, and then I came back and I was like, oh, okay, so this is actually a sport, and I enjoy it. So
now, why won't you compete?
Like I said, I'm kind of, I get, people say it's hard-headedness, but I think it could be. But when I put my mind into something, I'm going to go for, I don't do it for fun. I'm very competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, right now, it's just because I'm doing some stuff with my life on the side.
Okay.
So once I get, I was telling somebody, I don't remember who, but I was telling them, once I'm doing with what I'm doing right now, I'm definitely gonna do it. Yeah,
Because to be honest, man, there's a lot of people out there that would like to be as strong as you are,
yeah.
and you just kind of like just walk around strong for no reason.
No, well, yeah,
No, because I mean, you can lift with the big boys, and I mean, you're a pretty big guy yourself, but I'm just saying, like, in the big guys in powerlifting, you can kind of keep up with this.
yeah.
Like how I threw us in there.
I caught it.
Nah, but you can keep up with like the heavy lifters.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of odd that you don't compete at all.
Yeah,
And you lift the standard too, for the most part.
yeah. What's it called? Because I'm trying to learn every day. I'm learning.
All right.
You know what I mean? I'm still learning. I mean, yeah. That's all. That's. I was telling. I think it was one of my friends at the gym, Jared or somebody. I'm still learning. I'm still learning as I go every day from everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody I talk to, all these people I see. I'm like, damn, he's strong. Talk to everybody. So, but once I'm finished with what I'm doing right now, then yeah, I'll definitely do it. It's something I wanna do.
Well, I'm gonna be here for it, man. I can't wait to see you get on the platform. Because I think you do really well once you get on the platform.
Yeah, thank you.
So back in Kenya, what are you guys' views on like dating, like or date or just relationships? Like, how's the dynamic of the man, the woman, the children, like the household setting?
Definitely gender roles.
The gender roles?
Yeah.
Okay.
most definitely.
What's the basics of the gender roles in Kenya?
I mean, it's kind of changing too. Like the whole world is changing right now because I've been watching TikToks. But before it was like, yeah, the man works and provides for the family, but yeah, that's basically how it was. The man works to provide for the family, but there's those instances. It's not like he's telling his wife, oh, you have to stay home. No, you can go work if you want to, but a lot of women, back home prefer to stay home if the men can provide for them. So why would they want to work? But there's definitely gender roles, especially us growing up. Mom used to cook while dad comes back from, moms take care of the kids while dad's out. So
do you apply those gender roles to your own life, or you've adapted more to like a U.S. type lifestyle?
I pick something from it because there's some things obviously it's just like anything else. There's something I didn't like from it.
Okay.
And some things that I like,
What's one thing you do like from it?
One thing I do like is understanding, like, feminine and, masculine. You know what I mean? I do like that about it because, I know a lot of women don't like to hear that, but I'm not saying you should be feminine,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, too. I understand. I look at things from both angles. Like, I've heard from a lot of women, I act the way I act because men don't want to act like men. You ever heard that before? I've heard it before.
Yeah.
And
It's not in those exact words, but yeah.
Yeah. Men acting like women. And then the woman's like, no, I have to be a man and the woman. You know what I mean? And I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand from that angle. But if somebody's doing what they're supposed to do as a man, it's okay to be feminine. It's so demonized these days. Oh, like, I feel like it is,
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be. So I like that stuff. The working thing, I tell like my girl all the time, hey, look, if you want to work, you can work. I'm not telling you to stay home. Make your own money, bro. Like, feel me?
Yeah.
Whatever makes you happy, I support it. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you have to stay home. That's how the African. No.
Is your girlfriend African too?
Yeah, she's from Sierra Leone. So
She's from where?
Sierra Leone,
Oh, okay.
West Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dang, put me out. I mean, I know who she is. I think I spoke to her like twice.
Yeah.
I just never knew she was African.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, dang, put me out. Oh, so what's something bad that you like from it? Or you don't like from it?
Yeah, like that one where you have to stay home or you belong in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Stuff like
I have an apron for Christmas every year.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. I do believe that there are gender roles to an extent.
Yeah.
But I think that there's
an extreme.
Yeah, but I also think that as well that you have to be able to compromise.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, women have, we'll just take it this way, right? So women have dreams just like men do.
Yeah.
Right? And they have goals, career goals, and stuff like that. So if you got a lot of kids, then it might not be beneficial for one of you to work.
Yeah, true.
because of childcare.
Especially with this economy.
Yeah, with childcare, right?
Yeah.
So if the man, let's just say the man works a job and he makes $60K a year, and the woman works a job and she makes $90K a year, and y'all got 4 kids and childcare is high, paying $3,000 a month in childcare. Let's just say 3,000 because it could be
Yeah.
depending on how young your kids are and how many kids you have. It it might not be beneficial for both parents to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So who's quitting? Is it the one? You mean to tell me you're gonna tell the woman to quit? She makes 90,000 just because you're the man.
Yeah, that's tough. You can't really do
You see
that.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that there's a compromise. It
Yeah.
depends on the situation. But I think that as a man, I'll speak for as a man because there's no women here on the podcast today to defend themselves. But I think that as a man, I think that as long as you have the mindset that you need to provide for your family and you need to protect your family, I think that you can't lose.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You can't.
You can't lose. And I always tell people, no woman. I don't think that no woman is going to ever leave a man who's trying.
No.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you're only making $3,000 a month, as much as women would love to have, these 1%ers, I like to call them 1% men.
Yeah.
Meaning that they want a man who's 6 foot, makes
Six
figures,
Yeah, I know.
and
that,
all that.
the criteria.
Yeah, that's like less than 1% of the men in the U.S.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So, of course, they would love that, but reality is
They gotta accept they have to share them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're gonna cheat on you, bro.
Yeah, because we can get into that because if you get this 1% guy, every woman wants this 1% guy.
Yeah.
Right? He has options. So how do you know he's even going to choose you?
Yeah.
And then if he does choose you, how do you know he's not an asshole or he's not like on some crazy stuff? So, but my point is, if you make $3,000, just say hypothetically $3,000 a month, and out of that 3,000, let's just say majority of like 2,500 of that's going to the house, strictly to the house. Like before anything, you leave yourself $500 for whatever you need. But the 90%, 80% of your money is going to the house as a man. First, I don't think that any woman's going to complain too much. I mean, yeah, she might complain that dang, like we're putting our money together and we still kind of like barely making it. But she's not gonna.
Yeah, with a good head on her shoulders, she's not gonna leave you.
Yeah, but she's not gonna. She's gonna see that you're trying, see that you're working.
Yeah, not all of them are like that though. So it's very hard.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
it's hard out here for us men.
Well, not me anymore, so I don't gotta worry about that.
Man. Life's good. But actually, I watch some other podcasts sometimes, and one of the podcasts I watched, the guy said on there, and this has stuck with me. And I know a lot of women are going to probably be in the comments after I say this, but it's the truth, man. Men live life on hard mode. Women live life on easy mode.
To an extent, yeah.
Yeah, no, to a great extent.
To a great extent,
you break down pretty much most situations. It's easier.
Yeah, I mean, we could really boil it down to it. As a man, you can't just be hands up and then get somebody who's going to be like, hey, I like you.
No, because our value is not built into how we look.
Yeah, it's not how we look. It's about your pockets.
Yeah, it's about what you bring to the table. Whereas the majority of the time, women's value is depicted by their looks. Yeah. That's why we always talk about, oh, yeah, that girl who's over there who's like a 10, a quote-unquote 10, who's got all this, body and all this stuff going on, but what else does she bring to the table? And the dude will literally, just because how she looks, he will literally cuff her and, take care of her forever and all that kind of stuff. But in simple, if you think about it this way, right? A guy will take a woman who brings nothing to the table. She just has good looks, like a trophy, right? He will take her and take care of her. A good man will take her and take care of her forever, right? And she'll never have to bring $1 to the table. Flip the roles. A woman get a guy who looks good, who don't bring nothing to the table. The first couple of months it'll seem cool because he looks good, and he's like a trophy boyfriend, all this stuff because he looks so good and stuff like this to all your friends and stuff like that. But then when that honeymoon phase ends, she's gonna start to resent him, and she gonna be like,
downhill from there.
And then that's why women adapted that whole saying of, I could do bad by myself. You don't really hear men saying that.
No.
I don't think I ever heard a man say I could do bad by myself.
No.
So definitely, I really definitely believe, like, and not in an insulting way or belittling way to women at all. Because as a man, when you find a good woman, you find like the Bible says, you find a great thing.
Yeah.
And behind every strong man is an even stronger woman.
Yeah.
So it's no knock on females. I just think that females sometimes don't have reality in check when it comes to securing their significant other.
I think a lot to do with social media.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
shows they put on the TVs. Like I don't know if you look into Zeus.
No, I've heard of Zeus, but I actually never got into Zeus.
Yeah, it kind of depicts that in a way. But
So how long you and your girlfriend been together?
about 6 months.
About 6 months. How's that going?
Nah, it's good.
You guys seem happy in the gym, man.
Take it a day at a time.
That's good. You know what I like about you guys as a couple, though? If you didn't know no better, you wouldn't even know you guys were a couple until you guys come in the gym and leave the gym.
Yeah, because we work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I talked about this before episodes, man.
Yeah, like she already knows. I tell her all the time and she's the same way. If I'm in the gym, we used to go to the gym before. It's the same way. You know what I mean? I mean, we yap, but not really. All right, go hit your set. My alarm go out. All right, I'm gonna go hit my set. You know.
Yeah, like I'll see her come up to you and like show you something on the phone or ask you a question and talk to you for like 30 seconds, and then that's about it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't depict from the outside looking in. If I didn't know, that don't mean like you guys are, unless I'm like one of those like drama guys.
Oh yeah, no.
I would be like, that's their friends or something.
Yeah. It's not a secret, but it's private. You know.
Yeah.
What I mean? You know,
Yeah. I think that's very important, man.
Yeah.
Very important in relationships is to have some level of privacy and away from social media.
Yeah.
There's a lot of divorce rates a lot higher now with social media than it was back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't care what nobody says. I don't even need to Google it. I see so many people getting married and then getting divorced, getting in a relationship, breaking up. So
It's because I tell people a lot. I've noticed it too. Talking to somebody and going to somebody's house once in a while is different from with living them.
oh yeah, for
Living
sure.
them and just dating is two different things. Because then that's what I tell people first. You should probably live with that person for a little bit before you get married.
Now, with that said, how long do you think that you should wait before you move in with each other?
I mean, there's no wait time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say do it at least before you get married.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you think that the old way of thinking of waiting until you get married to live with each other is flawed?
Yeah. I think
I
it
agree.
is. Huh?
I agree.
Yeah. Because then, what if you get married and then you go to this, or you live with this dude or a girl, and then you see some stuff in the house you don't like, or something you never knew about them? Because when you go into somebody's houses, it tells you a lot about the person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The setup, everything.
I totally agree, man. There's no way I'm marrying anybody who I haven't lived with for at least 6 months to a year.
You gotta know certain things you like. Oh, she likes the toilet paper this way. I like it this way. Oh, the toothpaste. Oh, you push it from the top. She likes it from the bottom. Like a serial killer. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things. I learned that too.
No, there is. Definitely is. There's some people who like, even on scales of like, like cleaning. There's some people who like to clean once a month. There's some people that clean every day, once a week.
Yeah.
And then there's some people who you might have one of those women who talk like they're with the gender roles.
Yeah, until you get to that point. And she's like, you clean the dishes.
Yeah, you clean the fucking dishes. You cook and you do this and you do that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: if you had a woman who could provide for you, right, financially provide for you, and told you that you could stay at home, and all you had to do was cook and clean,
Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
You want to stay home and cook and clean?
No.
Why?
Nah, the way I was raised, I can't do it, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. I couldn't do it either.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Now, if it came down to it where we had kids, like that's the example I gave you earlier, and let's just say my woman made substantially more than me, and it didn't make financial sense for both of us to work, and she made more than me, yeah, I'd do it. But if it was just like you go to work and I'm just staying at home every day, I ain't got no kids to take care of.
Even then, I'd still do something on the side.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, if I might not work for like the man.
Yeah.
I might not clock in nowhere, but I'm gonna be doing something. I might be
social media, or
I'm gonna
be a content creator, or
something.
train people. Yeah, I'll still do something. I can't just sit there.
Yeah, but I always curious about that because I know for me, I couldn't just sit there.
Yeah, yeah,
I've tried it. I've tried to just take a step back and be like, all right, I'm just gonna live off my little retirement check, and it would be fine for like 3 weeks, and then I get bored.
even when I got out, I tried to do that. I took like a couple months off, and I started going crazy
Yeah,
because I was, fast-paced environment all the time. I was like, I can't do this.
yeah, and then also too, like you said, like the way you're raised.
Yeah.
If you're raised to be a protector and a provider and a workhorse,
Yeah.
you know, try to sit down and sit still is not easy.
Yeah.
Like me, like now I talk to my family about it now all the time about how I'm so busy lately. Like I'm literally always doing something, whether it's the podcast, whether it's prepping for a competition, whether it's working at my main job, working at the club, wherever I'm doing a whole bunch of different things. And every day it's like constant. Like I haven't had a day where I could just sit there for the entire day
Relax.
and just relax. Because even when I'm sitting there,
My mind, it's still going at 100. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, dude, I need to do this for the podcast. I need to edit this. I need to do this person's program. I need to do this. So it's constant. It's always constant. And a part of me is like, dang, like I just need to get rid of some stuff.
Yeah.
But then another part of me is I like it. I enjoy it. It kind of gives me purpose.
Yeah. You just gotta find a balance.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So before we get to the closing, when it comes to mental health, what's the first three things that pop, like three words that pop into your head? I asked this question before. There's a reason why I'm asking you this.
Like what three words come to mind?
When you first think about mental health.
Okay, yeah, actually, yeah. Well, it's not words, but this is what I think about personally.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's not like any. Yeah. First, you gotta be comfortable with being alone. You know what I mean? You gotta be comfortable with being alone.
Okay.
One way or another, you gotta realize that sometimes that's what it's gonna come down to, especially if you're single. You're not always gonna be around people, and when you're alone, are you content with yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you care about you? Because I tell people all the time, you can't go out here when you're single, try to love on somebody else when you don't truly love yourself. You know what I mean? You gotta love yourself first in order to be able to give it to somebody else. Yeah. So being alone, loving yourself, and then the third one, I'd say, worry about what you can. Don't worry about stuff that you can't control. If you can't do something about it, then okay, you can worry about it, but actually do something about it.
Yeah.
But worrying about something, which I struggle with too sometimes, I worry about stuff that I can't control. But these days, I'm past it. It took me a very long time, but now I'm like, oh wow,
Well, it's kind of crazy because I was going to ask you why those three words were so important to you.
Yeah.
But you kind of answered it. But I will piggyback and say that I tell people the same thing.
Yeah.
Stress what you can control, and that's it. I mean, everything else, because if you can't control it, if there's nothing you can do to change the outcome,
Yeah.
then why are you stressing?
Yeah.
You just let the cards play how you gonna play.
It's gonna drive you crazy.
Yeah. You're causing yourself more harm and becoming more stagnant in life than you would be if you just say, okay, well,
Yeah.
I can't control the fact that I make $3,000 and my bills are $3,100. I can't control that. But what I can control is I can go over here and
Find a different source
sell
of
some
income.
I can sell feet pictures.
Yeah. whatever you want to do. Whatever, Yeah, I get. Yeah.
Would you ever do an OnlyFans and sell some feet pictures?
I couldn't do it. I played soccer, man. My feet are not the best. I used to play soccer barefoot, so
Barefoot?
yeah.
Oh, that.
Back home.
Yeah, you could probably sell them. So try to sell them like sexy feet or nothing like that.
No.
Would you ever be with a girl who's on OnlyFans?
I can't do it. That's just me though.
Okay.
I couldn't do it.
I'm not gonna get into it. I was just curious.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do it because, that's my woman, bro. Like that's my other half. You know?
I think you know what. Screw it. I'm just gonna say it. I think that the OnlyFans thing is kind of messing the world up.
And what do you mean, like?
Because yeah, you're on OnlyFans and you're just making money, and people are saying, well, um, if you okay, well, it depends on what you use. Let me back up real quick. It depends on what you're using OnlyFans for and what you're selling. If you're
Yeah,
on,
because not all of them do
yeah,
like
I wouldn't know, but
yeah.
um, I'm guessing like I guess this I say. If you are on OnlyFans and you're just selling feet pictures or elbow pictures or
Yeah, I
your
know.
smile, then okay. Or if you're on there, I seen somebody was like subscribe to my OnlyFans, and they were just literally posting their gym shit.
Yeah, I've seen this girl on TikTok post her semi truck.
Yeah, like so.
I'm
If you're
like,
doing something like that, if you're doing stuff like that, not sexually explicit things on there,
yeah,
then I think that it's whatever. People are gonna look for these pictures anyway, or look for it anyway. So might as well make some money off it. Got it. But if you are on there doing sexually explicit things, whether it's showing your body, doing sexual acts, I'm not saying anything bad about you. I'm not judging you. I'm not saying anything bad. But what I am saying is,
accept the consequences.
yeah, and one of those consequences is that not too many men of substance is going to take you serious.
Yeah,
And they're not going to treat a man of substance is not going to treat a
the
woman.
man you want. Yeah,
Yeah, the man you ultimately want, a man, like I said, a man of substance is not going to look at you as a woman of substance when you've literally showed you've given the world everything.
Yeah,
Because it goes back to like we were saying earlier about a woman's a woman's main value is in her looks, right?
unfortunately, yeah.
And so when you've given your entire value to everybody, you kind of depreciate the value in a sense. You see what I'm saying? Like that's like going to Walmart and getting a pack of Oreos and taking out 12 cookies and then trying to sell for full price.
True. I see what. Yeah, I see.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Probably a bad analogy, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You can't give out everything to everybody and then expect for somebody to value you the same as you did before you did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And I think you also got to think about your future. If you're gonna have kids, you already put that on the internet. It's never gonna go away.
yeah,
Are you gonna accept your kids being bullied? Oh, I saw your mom.
yeah.
That's also like you should. I know a lot of people don't think about that, but
But again, I'm not judging
each is
anybody.
his own.
Yeah, we're not out here judging anybody or talking down on anybody. If that's what you got to do to pay your bills, and that's how you pay your bills, then
Do it.
all respect to you. Just my only advice would be to never lose sight of who you are and never lose respect for yourself. So chasing money. So, they say money is the root of all evil.
Huh?
They say money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
People will sell their souls just to live a life that they think is what they're supposed to live.
Yeah, and then they say I heard this from a millionaire a while back. Different level, different devils.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You might get that money, but now guess what? You're going.
Beyond that, be on trial at the Diddy trial with Diddy.
or tax fraud, or you have now you have. That's the thing with money though. The more money you get, the more your expenses get higher too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very seldomly do people acquire more
Yeah.
financial income, and don't acquire more debt.
Yeah. Because that's the whole thing. Because now you have more money, you're gonna want that bigger house, and that mortgage is gonna be more, and that property tax is gonna be there, and all this other stuff. So I don't know.
So I only got like one or two more questions for you. As a black man or African man, same thing, I guess you could say, in my opinion. But in today's society, what is like one of the biggest things that like biggest struggles you deal with in today's society?
Like personally?
Yeah.
Well, me personally, sometimes it's just a me thing. I feel like I could do more. You know what I mean?
Well, what I'm saying is like,
like in my life.
do you find that because you're a black man that you have certain struggles that you don't think that other people have?
Because of my I mean absolutely, yeah. There's some stuff I wouldn't say a struggle, but you can definitely energy wise, yeah. Like some places I go and
it's funny that you. Oh my God!
Yeah.
I wish my mom was out here right now with us. me and my mom was up late last night. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. And we were talking about that, because we lived on the East Coast and we lived on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And not to put my mom out there, her age out there like that too much, but it's so crazy how growing up on the West Coast, you hear about all those stories about like racism and stuff that happened in the South and on the East Coast, and it's not really prevalent to you. Like, you don't really think about it. You don't really acknowledge it. It doesn't really hit home. You know what I mean? Because it's going on right then, but you don't really hit home. So the reason I bring it up is because, like, for my mom was born back in the 60s, right? 68 to be exact. And so I told her, I said, it's crazy, Mom. I was like, is that during the time when you were born was during the time when, like, Martin Luther King and them was marching and they were still lynching people and, all that Jim Crow and racism stuff was going on. And you were born in Alaska, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole different world. You don't even, when you hear about those kind of things, because you don't have news like you do now.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't have live news. So, like, the news you're getting is probably from, like, last week or last month or something. And it's probably only covering your local news anyway, or, like, in a little small area around you. You know what I mean? So, you're not really getting, like, super national news. News isn't like how it is now. You don't definitely don't have social media. So, when you do hear about, like, the racism and stuff like that, it kind of seems like something of the past. Or it seems like something that's not true.
Yeah.
Because like for me, I never experienced racism. We heard about it, we learned about it, and then when I moved to the East Coast, I moved to North Carolina. I remember vividly, I got into this fight shortly after being there. I hadn't even been there that long. It's because the dude called me the N-word, and it just kind of hit home. It registered. It was like, hold on, wait, what? And then I didn't know. Like, it's like something deep down in me just switched.
Yeah.
I didn't. No one ever told me, like, if someone calls you this word, you need to beat them up.
Yeah.
But when he said it to me, immediately,
you just
and it was because, but growing up, I had a lot of people call me that. Back home in the West Coast, I had people call me, but we use it the different, the different,
in a different way.
Yeah, and you could tell. I brought it up because you talk about energy. Because like when certain people say it, it don't really bother me. It don't really trigger me. Well, it don't bother me now at all anyway.
Yeah, I mean, either. I just laugh. I'm like, at least you're letting us know your insecurities, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Because me, I look at it the way that, oh, okay, what's it called? You feel like I'm a threat to you, or like I'm better than you in some type of way for you to, project it towards me, try to make me feel less than you. So
yeah,
I just laugh it out. Even my girlfriend says all the time that I'm stupid, but because people say some stuff like.
But you can't control them anyway.
Yeah,
So at least I know how you truly feel.
Yeah,
now.
It's just words, bro. Like it's not gonna. Yeah. Before I would have done the same thing.
Yeah. Oh no. This is me. This is growth for me in the last 2 years. Because back in 2022, I got in a fist fight with a dude while working. He called me that. But yeah, it's just crazy how energy is so big and so prevalent.
Yeah, you can tell, most definitely. You can tell when somebody actually means it.
Yeah.
Or trying to offend you.
Yeah. Because for me I always ask that question. Not always, but I ask that question a lot about struggles of being a black man. I don't really feel like as a black man that I have too many struggles.
Me neither.
For being black.
Yeah. No.
And I'm not negating or downplaying anybody else's struggle, what they're going through. Yeah, I'm not downplaying. I'm saying for me, speaking for me, I've experienced in the South where racism and people pulling you over because you're black, or spitting as you walking by. I've experienced that stuff.
Oh yeah, me too. I got put in handcuffs for something like that too.
Yeah.
When I was in the military too, it was crazy.
Oh yeah, that's wicked.
Yeah. So even when my boss came, he was like, "What?"
So what happened with that?
So I was driving. It was in Hawaii. It was on Schofield. I was going to the little gym because it was during COVID. Me and my friends, and I'm driving, and I was speeding. I'm not gonna lie, probably like 5 or 10 over. This dude pulls me over, and he's like, "Okay, you're speeding." I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, whatever." Give him my ID. Comes back, he's like, "You don't have a driver's license." I'm like, I looked at it. I looked at his head. I was like, "You're holding it." You know what I mean? So he took it offensively. He's like, "Yeah, but it's not showing in the system." And in my head, I'm like, did you stop to think maybe your system is not working right now? Because you don't work for the state. You're fake police,
Yeah.
for the military. So he's like, yeah, whatever. He was like, oh, it's procedure to arrest you because you don't have a driver's license. I'm like, I just show you my cat card. Before I joined the Marine Corps, they asked me if I had a driver's license, and they ran a background check on it, and I do have a driver's license.
Yeah.
Even my sergeant kind of like, bro, he drives tactical vehicles.
Yeah.
Of course he needs his license. So they're like, but the dude was racist. He was.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because he got kicked out a couple months or a year after that because he got caught with a DUI. I was like, karma, huh?
Yeah. All right, so real quick, what kind of advice would you give somebody who's maybe going through? If somebody walked up to you right now and told you that they're going through something, or they called you, it's like, hey, like I'm having a rough day, something along those lines. Pretty much, just kind of going through it. What kind of advice would you give? What kind of advice would Jay give to them?
I mean, honestly, I'd tell them like, if you this thing that's bothering you or whatever is bothering you, like I piggyback on what I said before. Can you do something about it? Is it something that's affecting you alone or everything around you? You know what I mean? And if it is, I'd say, well, I tell this to even my girl sometimes, or even my brother. Try to find something that is gonna help you see tomorrow, or gives you a reason to see tomorrow, or something to motivate you. For me, when I have days like those, because I usually have days like those, like where it's just rough. I'm tired and my mind is tired, But I try to find something to help me keep going. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people, maybe there's some people who don't have people who they have to keep going for and they feel like they're alone. Do it for you. You know what I mean? Do it.
Ultimately, that's what they should do it for.
Yeah,
anyway.
you do it for you at the end of the day. Before you do it for somebody else, do it for you.
Yeah.
And I tell them I mean, if God was, I don't know, if they're not a believer, but if they're a believer, it's better because I tell them, you woke up today, right? Mm-hmm. That means God's not done with you.
Exactly.
If he was done with you, you wouldn't be here. So clearly he has a plan for you. Might not see it right now, I tell them just keep your head up and I don't know. Try to find help. Obviously, try to find doing something that's gonna help you like process it better. I'm not saying try to avoid it or try to push it back. No, sit down. Let it feel how you feel. Because a lot of people have that problem. I used to have that problem. Kind of bottle it up and not think about it or worry about it. Be like whatever. Try to stay busy. It's gonna catch up to you.
Okay.
So yeah.
And what do you think about the podcast?
Oh no, I like it. It's definitely different. Not a lot of people actually. I don't think there's a lot of podcasts that actually talk about like mental, stuff. So.
Would you come back on the podcast?
Yeah, absolutely.
To do just a single episode, or would you come back on to be like on a? Because I'm thinking about getting into, not getting into, but I'm thinking about having a panel.
Mm-hmm.
Would you come back for a panel?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, of course, man. I'd love to have you back, man. You're my brother. I appreciate you as always.
Yeah.
And as always, like he said, man, find a reason to see tomorrow, today. So if you're going through something that's, just like I said, he said, going through something today, find a reason to wake up tomorrow. And remember, like he said as well, if you woke up today, you're on God's wake up list. That means that God ain't done with you yet. So do the best that you can with what you got today. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button on the channel. Like the episode. Put in the comments what you think about it. And if you haven't already, go ahead and head over to Instagram. Follow us on Instagram at @MinorEmotions_VDP. You can follow my boy Jay here on Instagram at J_TH.
Yeah.
_DA_Wakanda. It'll pop up. That's a weird name, man. And then you can follow myself as well on Instagram at official_BigHefeHerc. And then head on over to TikTok as well and follow the podcast at @MinorEmotions_. At @MinorEmotions, the podcast. I appreciate you guys tuning in and supporting the podcast as well. You guys be blessed. And like I said, check on each other. Peace.
Peace.